Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is Poly-10, powers with zero and negative exponents. First, let's go over the rules. If you have a negative exponent, the rule is that the base and the exponent itself become a denominator in a fraction, and at that point the exponent becomes a positive, and we put it over 1. So in the case of x to the negative n, it becomes 1 over x to the positive n. If you have a 0, the 0 exponent rule is that anything that has a 0 exponent can be reduced to 1. We'll start by taking a look at questions 3 and 4. The directions ask you to transform each expression into an equivalent expression involving a positive exponent. So we have 2/3 to the negative second power, and so we're going to apply this 2 to both the negative 2 to both the 2 and the 3, but we're going to flip these so that the 3 becomes the numerator now and the 2 becomes the denominator, and each one is going to have a positive 2 for an exponent. Now, we would normally go ahead and solve this out, but since the directions were simply to change it to a positive exponent, we're going to leave it like this. And we're going to look to do the same thing for number 4, m to the negative sixth. So that's going to equal 1 over 6. For numbers 10 and 11, you're being asked to compute each value using the definition of zero and negative exponents. So we have 10 to the negative third. So we're going to set that up as 1 over 10 to the third. Remember, this turns into the denominator of a fraction, and we have a positive 3 for the negative 3 that we started with. And since in this case we're being asked to compute this, we can bring this even farther down to 1 over 1,000. For number 11, we have 4 times 10 to the negative second. And remember, the negative exponent is going to turn this into a fraction. Now, you might be wondering, why did the 4 become the numerator here? Let's come back and take a look at 10 for a second. If you think about this, there is actually assumed to be a 1 out here being multiplied by this. And so this 1 becomes the numerator in 1 over 10 thirds, 10 to the third power. So if we actually have a number out here, then that number is going to become the numerator, and the 10 to the positive second power is going to become the denominator, in which case that's going to give us 4 over 100, which reduces to 1 over 25. Next, we're going to use the law of exponents to perform each indicated operation, and we'll do that for numbers 23 and 24. So for 23, we have a to the negative fourth times 3. So in this case, we're multiplying exponents, and so we would have a to the negative 12th, and you know we can't leave a negative exponent, and so we're going to flip that into a fraction with a 1 over a to the positive 12th. And here, for 24, we have x to the negative second power, and the whole thing is being multiplied by 0. So just like we did over here, we're going to multiply first, and if we multiply 0 times negative 2, we're going to get 0. So we have x to the 0 power, and as you may remember, x to the 0 power is always going to be equal to 1. Anything to the 0 power is going to be equal to 1. And lastly, we'll take a look at question number 26. Find the value of 5x to the 0 power plus 2x minus 1 when x is equal to 4. So here's the original equation. Let's plug the 4's in where we can. And so I started from left to right and broke this down a little bit too. So an x to the 0 power we know is 1. So this is really 5 times 1 plus 2 times the 4 is substituted for the x to the negative 1 power. So next this is going to bring it down to 5 plus 2/4. The 2 becomes our numerator just like it did back in question 11. The 4 becomes our denominator, and the 1, while it's still attached to the 4 as a positive, we don't need to show that. So we have 5 plus 2/4. 2/4 can be reduced to 1/2, so we have 5 1/2. Please use the work that was done for you tonight to help you to solve any additional problems that are on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.